Brian Kilmeade, a Fox News host on Fox and Friends, says Democrats shouldn't pursue impeachment against Donald Trump, which is happening, by the way, because it might trigger Republicans to do more violence. This is saying, let's negotiate with terrorists. That's what Brian Kilmeade is saying here. Let's take a look at the video and then we will discuss.
You believe that America could be more effective and has been ineffective because we've been at each other's throats. What could be more disenchanting?
They don't want him to run again. They don't want him to run again.
They don't want him to run again. That's fine. But you don't understand, too, there's a lot of people that want him to, number one, continue to be a force in the Republican Party, believe a lot what he believes. He has 75 million supporters. So if you have an overarching sense that I got to bring the country together because we see what's happening around this country, how 50 state houses are being threatened on Inauguration Day. This is the last thing you want to do. It astounds me that now Chuck Schumer, guys, is exploring a possible workaround using the authority granted to two senators back in 2004 to reconvene the Senate in times of emergency, I assume this, and have a quick impeachment vote. Fantastic idea. Mitch McConnell has to sign off on it. But it would be as dumb as Nancy Pelosi hopping on 60 Minutes last night and saying the president's an imminent threat.
Well, that's not going to happen. Mitch McConnell said.
So suddenly the issue is, there's been so much political infighting. That is just hilarious. But truly, Brian Kilmeade is saying, negotiate with terrorists. The right thing to do is impeach. But wait. The terrorists will get violent if you do it, so don't impeach. Only for that reason. That's not his phraseology, but that's essentially what he's saying. It's the equivalent of negotiating with terrorists. These are the people, Kilmeade and his cronies on Fox, who are always saying you don't negotiate with terrorists, the people they perceive to be terrorists. If an action is correct, if an action is warranted, you do it. You don't let people threaten you with violence to get you to change your actions. But because Trumpists are likely to get violent if you impeach, you skip impeachment? What, Brian? What we're hearing from Trumpists is we will respond with violence if Democrats use a power granted to them by the Constitution. That's more of a confession than a valid political statement or argument. And what Brian Kilmeade should be saying is, it would be really stupid to go be violent and riot in 50 states plus DC again, given how terribly that went for the country last week, and given the fact that you'd be rioting over the lies that Trump has been telling you, which have no merit. 50 or more court cases have found that the lies that got you to riot have no merit whatsoever. So we've seen so much hypocrisy over the last week. And I know that hypocrisy doesn't matter to the American right anymore. I know I've been here the last 4 years as much as you have, to the extent that you've been here. If there's any 3-year-olds in the audience, then I take it back. We saw this with business regulation over the last week for 40 years. I even had a tweet that I should have pulled up here. For the last 40 years, I wrote, it's been deregulate everything from Republicans, let businesses do whatever they want, don't enforce antitrust, get government out of business and the people's lives. And then all of a sudden, Republicans on January 8th regulate social media, monitor big tech, break up monopolies, create new laws to control business, tell businesses exactly what to do and when they can ban someone and not ban someone and blah, blah, blah. And now the we will never negotiate with terrorists crowd is saying, I don't know, guys, aside from whether impeachment is correct, it'll make Trumpists be violent again, so you shouldn't do it. No, Trump is the one who should have thought of that before he incited a riot on the tail end of 2 months of telling people lies that they fell for about the election. That's where the responsibility is, period. And if Brian Kilmeade really wanted to do something good for the country, he would say to his audience, guys, whatever happens with impeachment, whatever happens with the 25th Amendment, don't riot. Don't riot because you're rioting over something that is fake. Trump has lied to you. You've been tricked. You've been bamboozled. You've been deceived. Don't go and riot. That's not something I expect to hear Brian Kilmeade say anytime soon. You may not have known this, but when you see me sitting here on the show, I am often wearing shirts by a company called Teddy Stratford. I asked them to be a sponsor because they are by far my favorite shirts that I own. With almost all other slim fit button-up shirts I've worn, you get this annoying stretched out gap in the chest where the buttons are, which does not look good. But what makes Teddy Stratford shirts unique is this patented zipper that's hidden underneath the buttons, which actually prevents the chest from looking weird and stretched out like that. It looks really good. And just all around, they cut the entire shirt in a specific way that makes your upper body look a lot better. It's just a much nicer and more stylish fit than you get from other shirts. And they hand make everything with 100% Egyptian cotton and flat felled seams, which means it's going to be a lot more durable than other shirts and last a lot longer, which I really love. Go check them out at davidpakman.com/Teddy. The link is down below and they'll give you 15% off your first order if you use the coupon code Pakman at checkout.